Hi, Cosmic Soul fam, Mel Ivy here, getting ready to do a live on my 30-day cosmic exploration. And I actually took my own advice during the moon in Leo, and I took a day off. I went and played outside and grounded, and then I spent the day yesterday cleaning because I'm also following the moon cycles, right? So yesterday, the moon ingressed into Virgo. I felt the need to purify my space, to purify my body, to clean to bathe my dog Tanner, who doesn't like to be bathed, by the way. But he's so cute. And I really enjoy, taking care of him because it's an honor. He's an elder, right? He's 17 years old and still, still kicking it. He's amazing. Anyway, we're still in the throes of Gemini season, so there's a lot of thoughts going on. And so during this time, this sort of media break, I allowed myself to explore doing, again, North Node in Pisces. I allowed myself to imagine and to connect to, to the realms that are unseen, very Pisces. And so I was led down a couple of rabbit holes yesterday, and it just took me on a cosmic exploration. And it really ignited my own exploration about even what I know or I think I know about astrology, right? So we're in such interesting times right now, guys, where are you willing to release what you think you know to make room for new data, new information, new light? And have you been holding on through your cognitive dissonance to a reality that you're watching crumble before your eyes? And that's okay. It can be scary, right? Chiron and Aries. It's like if the child needs to feel safe as we are exploring these new realms. But where I was allowing myself to go to is, our ancestors have done this. I mean, gosh, guys, in the 1400s, before that time, humanity thought that the earth was flat. Until the scientists, right, the priestcraft of the realm came in and wove in a new story about our cosmology based on new technology, right? So I'm allowing myself to explore these realms of the new technology and what it's going to allow us to see about our reality, how it shapeshifted, how we perceive ourselves in relation to the cosmology, right? Even planets and stars, the extra-terrestrial, which just means extra territory, extra terra, extra earth. So, I'm not a flat earther. I'm not a round earther either. I don't know where the fuck I'm at earther. So let me just tune into my own gnosis and see what feels true to me. And again, I like to look at the root language, etymology, because those are keys. Again, it's the program. The language is the program. So when we're speaking on extra-terrestrials, it's meaning extra earth. And what if there are realms? I'm thinking also too, if you guys were big into the whole, what's the series with Daenerys? The Game of Thrones, right? And in the beginning, they show you a map and they show you these different kingdoms, these different realms, right? And then the ice wall. And then they show you, what's on the other side of the ice wall, and they scare you like, oh, skinwalkers are coming from the other side of the ice wall. And meanwhile, what if, again, Gemini season, this is Gemini. If I'm willing to release all thoughts about what I think I know, and we know there's an ice wall in Antarctica, and we know that there's a place where, regular people, Joe Schmo like you and I, can't go in there. We can't film. We can't even fly. There's no fly zones in parts of this world. And we know that. I don't care what you think. You know that the government has a stronghold in some parts of this world, this realm, that we cannot, as civilians, go to. Why? What is there? Right? So these are questions, especially in Gemini season, to be curious about, right? Do aliens exist, and do they exist in the way we think we know? I've spent many times out here, especially in the forest of Kentucky, and I like, gosh, I could see where a Yeti would be there, right? A tree all of a sudden forms into a being, and I'm like thinking I'm imagining stuff, but maybe that's the whole point of it. We're here to learn Pisces. We're here to learn to imagine, to get out of this program, right? I see it like a netting, or almost like well, the way I see it now is like a spider web that, have you ever gone in nature and you see a spider web that's just kind of half hanging on its branch, right? And so the netting that's been forming our consciousness in this realm, whatever you think, whatever language you're using, it's falling away. It's like an old spider web. And so we're starting to see other realms of consciousness, and we're starting to allow ourselves to ask these questions, right? Because we're getting out of the judgment as being seen as crazy. Of course, we're entering into Aquarius, so questioning our own minds, what we think we know about this consciousnness, about this reality. And so, leaning into the unknown, leaning into, well, I'm not going to, again, when I first heard about flat Earth back in 2018, which is, by the way, when Uranus ingressed into Taurus, right? So aha awakenings about the Earth, about what we've been told about the Earth, if you're just following the astrology, then a lot of us who have not revisited the flat Earth was like, what the fuck? Flat Earth. But, it's a story. So I was willing and allowed myself, if you guys want to study Martin Kenny stuff, he was really into it, right? And now I have a different perception about flat Earth. I think it's more of a terrarium. And my great sister, Sarah Ellen, put that into my consciousness about, what if we're living in a terrarium? It's not flat or round, it's both. It's not either or, it's and more, right? Because I look at the trees and I look at the rings around the trees, and so it just makes sense to me, right? It just, that perhaps we were taught something with an agenda as early, as children, that wasn't necessarily the truth. It was partially the truth, right? Or just, again, the perception generator, wherever you're willing to go. And whatever feels good in your nervous system, if you allow yourself these conversations, because these are not easy conversations to have, especially with yourself, if you're willing to let your reality, what you think go, then what's left, right? What's left is you, your inner knowing, your inner gnosis. Your ancestors got you. Your inside knowing has your back. So this is also the realm of, again, learning North Node in Pisces, to trust those psychic impressions that you get, or those intuitive hits that don't make sense, that are nonsensical, that might actually disrupt your own cognitive dissonance about what you think you knew, right? And even the science, which is a psyop. If you look at the spelling, right? Science is like seance. Again, the spelling. Even the art coming from that time has shifted and went into a different direction. So I would just invite you to explore these things. Again, we're in Gemini season. This is the time to explore, possibly out there thoughts. Because why not? I actually have natally Aquarius 3rd house. So I think these things anyway. I think that's why I'm a creative. And, I one day we'll probably write a movie, just because I'm seeing reality in a very artistic and cool way that might hold truth to it, but might be just digestible for people unless they get it in cinema or in a movie form, right? The truth is always in plain sight. And especially we know that Pisces rules media in Hollywood and what's being produced, right? The fantasy world. And so the realms between fantasy and reality are shifting. They're melting away. And so this is for you to anchor into your own gnosis, into your own knowing, your own exploration, your own intuitive guidance. And if you're guided to watch a certain, YouTube thing, or if you're guided to get off of maybe certain media because it doesn't feel good, listen to your intuition. Allow yourself to explore. Allow yourself to go to the depths of maybe, it's a fine line between genius and madness. Ask an Aquarius. I have a lot of Aquarian friends. I have my Aquarius 3rd house. So anyway, I digress. Coming back. Join me for this live 30-day cosmic conversation on livzenastrology, where we're going to be talking about these things. I'm even seeing a whole new way to describe astrology. It's not what we think. I'm even questioning if the planets out there, what they told us they were. I just see twinkling lights, but what are they really? Am I really looking at water and plasma? Am I really looking at the ocean up above me? I'm just asking all these questions, right? Because why not? We're in Gemini season. It's time to ask these questions. Dare to be different. Dare to be unique. Dare to be original. You're not special. Nobody's special, because that's what put you in a caste system. That's what got us into this whole thing anyway. But you are unique. You do have a unique periphery that, your higher self, your highest version of self might be calling in to anchor in. Because again, the brain is just a radio receiver. So what are you receiving? Now that you've cleared up your consciousness, you've cleared up your body. South Node in Virgo, clean up your act. You know, get the parasites out. You know, get some natural food in you. Get the artificial shit out of you and see if you start seeing a new dimension of things. Anyway, this is just an invitation, exploration, conversation. If you want to go more, go deeper. And again, join in this Lives in Astrology 30-day conversation, cosmic exploration of these topics, then I would invite you to do so. You can check out the channel, like, subscribe, share this with friends or family who are also having these private thoughts. Like, am I, the only one that's thinking these things and willing to go there? No, you're not the only one. But as we're learning to open up our throat chakras and really share who we are and really share these thoughts and ideas, they're just ideas. And if your ideas threaten other people, so be it. All right, guys, I love you. Thank you for joining the Cosmic Conversation. I'll see you live in a few minutes. All right. So much love. Bye.